Hello, Lisa. This is Tianyu Deng from my thesis work for week 3. First, I want to talk about my reset persona goals based on the feedback from your last week. My original idea is to create an app for the international students to offering the valuable and interesting tips for help them better adapt into the United States. So I'm start consider a series of functions the app should include, such as searching the tasting food restaurant, solving some culture shock problems for the students. However, after I read your feedback, I'm start to rethink how can I better develop my idea to a perfect function for the apps. So finally, I create 4 persona goals, or generally is 4 functional directions for my app should come up with. So first, instead of to find research tasting food, I call them living tips. The living tips is first function of my app, because it will include a series of the interesting tips for the international students. For instance, restaurant hunting is just a simple function of the app. To compare with the existing competitors such as Yap, what's the difference? My app offering the tips for students hunting the best or the tasting food restaurant based on their nationalities. So there is no fake data. So after I talking about the persona goals, I will show some interface design concept ideas for my apps. So you can say why it's different compared with Yap. So you have to pick up your nationalities. All the tips come from the people who come the same country as you. For instance, I'm a Chinese student. I'm seeking a good spicy Sichuan food because I'm come from Sichuan. So I pick up the nationality China. So all the tips come from the students who has the same country as you. Second is the culture tips, I call it. It solves the problem for the culture barrier, such as in some countries, we do not call the elder people directly like their name. So it will cause some like small conflict from the people who study here. So before students come to the US, they could see all these tips to solve some culture barriers here. For the legal tips, I think that's the good ideas. You inspired me. I never think about that, but actually there are a lot of situation happens linked to the culture barrier and culture share to lead a series of legal problems. Sorry. For example, the driving problems is big league tips for the international students who study or living in the United States. I can give examples based on my personal experience. I've been pulled over for once, but I received a ticket for the overspeed. But I don't know whether I drive overspeed. So I have to find someone to consulting these problems because I got a ticket from the police. So he noticed me. I have to go to the appearance. So it means I have to go to the court. Go to the court sometimes is a big problem for international students because maybe some of us never face this series of problems. So we have to find a place to consulting. But how can we? But two general problems such like the traffic tickets, the hearings on the court. So we don't know what should we do there. So the best way or the easy way, the tip my app offering for the international student is there's a tips to offering a valuable series of the legal problems. Maybe they will challenge it in the United States. No matter the living problems, the traffic problems, they're paying for the tickets, you overcharge for the credit card, all the series of the legal questions could be find the general answers on the tips, and they will offering the available experience examples based on the personal experience. So the last function of the app should be the general tips, just like I mentioned from the interview processing and the persona designs. I keep these simple functions like a lot of people come from different places, international, especially for the international students. Some come from the place very hot, some people come from to the very cold. So they may be crossing the world to the place they're never familiar with, especially for the weather. What kind of clothes they should prepare, and what kind of shoes they should wear. What some things they need to bring to better help them adapt to the society, even in the high-tech, advanced societies. People still need to bring something. So, general tips offering them a zone to sharing their experience about bring things to make you happy or to make you have better live into the United States. So next, I'm talking about the storyboard. I showing the simple functions. I pick up the two functions. First is the living tips. So the living tips is the storyboard shows the India boy Raji study in the library and considering to move a new apartment, but he doesn't know which website is trust easy, because like the Craigslist, like the apartment hunting website, they're preparing for people who have a job, but not for international students. So the way you can see, the storyboard try to show a great stories maybe international students faced. The website indicates that the apartment is a good condition, but actually it's not. The price is not good, and the pictures doesn't match with the real circumstance of the real conditions for the apartment shows. So my app try to solve the problems in a simple step, because no matter you want to find a homestay or apartment, this is allow the international student to offering their real experience about the tips. It means we don't want advertisement. We don't want fake data on our website, on our app, on the app. It only comes from the real pictures who have already taken by the owner or by the students who have visited the apartment. So next is like the problems I mentioned for the overspeed ticket is based on my experience. The girl who come from the South Arabia, driving the car, but pulled over by the policeman. He received the ticket, but she doesn't know how to dealing with that. She needs a legal consultant, but it's too expensive to affordable a time, and it's not worthy for the money to ask a lawyer to solve these problems. So our app offering the better solutions how to deal with this series of the legal problems, because you can find some of the general legal suggestions. How could you dealing with this case? If you go to the appearance, what you should do, what you should not do, what you should commit. So you don't need to lead a series of biggest problems because you made a mistake. You made a small mistake. And the last thing for this week, I try to start to think the concept of the design. I designed the logo for my app. It's like you can see a T. It's mean the tips for the inside of the middle, and I use 5 different colors. The 5 different colors means 5 different continentals, and we hold together especially international students from different places, from the different continentals in the world. The left picture shows the first thing you have to filling out to become the membership, to register become the membership, the first thing you need to pick up is your nationalities. Just like I mentioned, to compete with other existing functional apps or other replacement apps, we want international students only focus on their community. But it doesn't mean you cannot talk with other communities, other nationality international students. Actually, I will offering a channel for students who could add each other, become the friends, just like a simple functions is online chatting. You can through our apps to talk with each other, to share experience with each other. But for the nationality things, it's just like a specific targeting for your interest, for your specific targeting groups. For the right pictures, it shows the 4 simple functions I just mentioned for my setup for the persona goals in my first page. The living, general, culture, and legal. As the 4 functions tips, if you press enter the different zone, it will lead you to the series tips inside it. And I will continue to doing a series of the wireframe design for this week. I probably design what some specific functions inside the living, such like the search bar, and give them a lot of details. Continue to introduce my design for the wireframe. And thanks, Lisa. I'm waiting for your feedback for this week work. Thanks.